From rescue to rehabilitation. In this episode, we go deep into understanding the care of pangolins in Zambia. We'll be speaking to Dr. Chadzantso Phiri from the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, who will help us understand what exactly it takes to rescue and rehabilitate pangolins. Let's go. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Phiri, today.
Thank you.
All right. I think we're just going to get right into it. We have a one-of-a-kind establishment here in Zambia, the Pangolin Rehabilitation Center.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through the establishment of the center?
Well, when the Department of National Parks and Wildlife noticed that there was a lot of increase in the seizures of pangolins, it became an idea that came up because of the condition in which the pangolins were coming in. The pangolins, most of the time, they were dehydrated, they were not well. And this was because of the limited information that these people in illegal trade would have, so they wouldn't take care of them properly. So when they come in, they would be in a poor state. So to release them back into the world like that would be like releasing them to certain death. So we needed a rehabilitation center where after they are recovered from illegal trade, they go to the rehabilitation center, they get the treatment that they need, and then now we release them back into the world. And that is when the Department of National Parks and Wildlife had an idea to collaborate with wildlife crime prevention to come up with this rehabilitation center so that the pangolins can have the care that they need before being released back into the world.
All right, that's very, very interesting. I want to circle back to what happens when these pangolins come to the rehabilitation center. What kind of care do they specifically need, especially some of the more vulnerable ones, such as the pangolin pups?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, when they come in, they're in a poor state. They are dehydrated. They haven't been fed for days, and they have wounds on the legs, under their scales, and the reason, and sometimes it's because of the way they are kept.
Yes.
I remember one particular time looking at a pangolin that was recovered. It was in a small, tiny bag, and the animal was forced to be in there such that it couldn't even breathe properly. So those are the kinds of things that the state in which we receive them. And so when we receive them like that, they need constant care. Sometimes they are young ones.
Yes.
They're not that old. So they need round-the-clock care. They need feeding, they need rehydration, and they need treatment as well when they have wounds and all those things. So sometimes it requires all-nighters to just take care of these rescued pangolins.
All right. That is very helpful to hear. Another thing, and automatically I would just like to segue into understanding some of the conditions. If you can give me an example of a condition or maybe a frequent condition that a pangolin that you had, or the pangolins that you've seen come into the rehab come in with.
Wounds. Most
Okay.
of them have wounds because they're not kept in the correct environment. So you find that they have wounds. They have wounds under their scales. They have wounds on their legs, on their limbs. Sometimes the illegal traders tie threads or strings to the legs, and then you find there's wounds all over. So wounds is one of the most important conditions that we normally see from these recovered pangolins.
Okay. I see that. And just to add to some of these conditions, can you share with us what gaps or challenges do you see constantly reoccurring in rehabilitating and rescuing pangolins?
Yeah, so one of the important gaps that we have is funding. We need funding to be able to assist the officers on the ground to go out there and rescue these pangolins. To do that work, it needs funds. And also, we need technical staff. We need trained people, people with capacity, and we need to build our capacity to be able to take care of these pangolins. So those are some of the major gaps that I've seen that we need help with.
Okay. No, thank you very much for that. I also read that climate change is also becoming a big challenge with regards to taking care of pangolins, given the kind of diet they have. So the more drought, I know that we recently experienced a drought as a country. I'm assuming the more drought or the less water we have, the more challenging it becomes feeding these animals.
Yes, that is definitely one of the things that we experience, because when we have climate change and then we have conditions like the ones you have mentioned, you find that the pangolins are not able to find the food that they need, because they need a certain type of food. They don't eat, they're different. They don't eat what every other animal eats.
Yes.
They eat ants. So when that climate change comes in and affects their food chain, that becomes a problem. And that's where climate change comes in and creates a gap or a challenge.
You and the rest of the team are doing pioneering work, I must say. And this is something that should be highly commended. If there are people listening and want to support you, what would you encourage them to do to support the release, the rescue, the rescue and the rehabilitation of pangolins in Zambia?
We would just like to appeal to the community to be able to help us provide funds, sponsorships, so that these pangolins can be rescued and taken care of, given the care that they need, the medical supplies that they need, so that when we release them back into the wild, we release back healthy pangolins. So that's one of the things that we really need, the help in funding. And also, we need help with information. When the community sees that there's something
suspicious activities
going on, something fishy, let them report that to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, and the officers will quickly come in, and if they find that there's pangolins that need to be helped, they'll be able to help them, rescue them, give them the needed treatment, and release them back into the wild.
Dr. Phiri, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a very, very helpful conversation.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right.
Thanks.
Pangolins need more than compassion. They need resources. Your support means better care, expanded facilities, and trained hands for every new arrival. To donate, scan the barcode on your screen or visit www.wildlifecrimeprevention.com.